Party Candidate Forum. First, we'd like everyone to rise for a prayer.
Let us pray. Almighty God, you are actively involved in every part of your creation at every moment. For those here, but especially those not here, grant to all a willingness to get involved in the upcoming elections and help us resist complacency. Let each one know the value of his or her vote, and let each one exercise their privilege with diligence and faith. We look to you for protection and safekeeping. We ask you for godly, good leaders who will bring joy to those they lead. Do not allow any wicked persons to gain public office, but only those who will honor you. Keep the candidates, the conventions, the delegates, and the media safe from every kind of harm, O Lord, and deliver us from any evil plots that have been arranged. Let no weapon that is formed against our nation or our leaders prosper. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit we pray. Amen.
Amen.
We're now going to do the pledges. U.S. flag first.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas. Who knows the Texas flag?
Honor the Texas flag. Okay. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Most of the time people are like, Texas flag, there is one. For those of you who are not familiar with the Tea Party, the Ellis County Tea Party is a grassroots, nonpartisan movement whose mission is to communicate our views of limited government, fiscal and personal responsibility, the rule of law, and national sovereignty, as supported by the Constitution of the United States of America. These values were given to us by our founding fathers, and our role and duty in this is to protect them with our lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, as they did. First of all, I would like to introduce to you our timekeeper for the evening, Harlan Bounds.
Hi y'all, thanks for coming. A couple of things I want to talk about real quick. You know, the Ellis County Tea Party, as well as many other tea parties, thousands of tea parties across the country, are a bunch of radical, right-wing nuts that are just trying to stir up trouble. No, that's not true. Actually, what we are concerned citizens. We have candidate, we try to instruct what's going on, what we discover, and we can pass on to other people. One of the things that we're doing is we're holding candidate forums. We're trying to get everybody in the community to meet and get to know the candidates, as well as us to get to know the candidates. And that's what we want to do. But what we do not want, and do not want to see here tonight, is personal attacks by the candidate to another candidate. What we want to see here tonight is for you to share your message, answer the questions, and let us get to know you. Let that stand. If I want to see ugliness in politics, I'll watch the national races. We don't need to do that here in Ellis County. At the end of the day, one of y'all are going to represent us here, and I don't want to see, I just don't want to see the garbage. That's all I've got to say about that. Now, I'll move on to, we have two tags here. For those candidates out in the audience, this is a 15-second. I'm going to be timing it. This means you have 15 seconds to wrap it up. there's that. This is the stop sign, and that means stop. We have a lot of candidates speaking, and we want to get out of here sometime before midnight, so everybody please stay conscious of that. Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce the moderators, Randy Clements. Stand up, Randy. And Jimmy Simmons. Okay, the first group up will be Precinct 1 constables. All candidates for Precinct 1 constable come up to these chairs, please. Okay. Okay, Ben Fry. Clint Timms is not here. Okay, we're just kind of calling roll real quick. Gary Perkins. There's Gary. Roy Callender.
Draw order question. Round one. This is an opening statement.
Okay, guys.
We're going to do this a little differently than Republican women did it on Monday night, and we're going to see how it works out. It's experimental. We're going to, we drew names there, or drew numbers to see who has their opening statement, first, second, third, fourth. Yeah. And then we're going to get into the questions. We're not going to ask the same question to 4 candidates in a row, and then the second question and the third question, for instance. We're going to mix that up so that we don't sound like an echo chamber in here. So, or they can work off of each other. So, I guess what we'll do here, who got number 1? Who is it? Okay. Mr. Callender, come on up. You do your opening statement for, what, 1 minute? 2 minutes.
Well, my name's Roy Callender Jr. I'm from Ellis County, grew up here, went to school at Ferris Independent School District, graduated. Shortly after that, I attended, served in the U.S. Army, the 10th Mountain Division, as a light infantry foot soldier. After that, July of 1997, AETS from the military and joined the Ellis County Sheriff's Office in August of 1997. I've been there ever since. I'm a lieutenant at the Wayne Public Detention Center at this time. I'm a peace officer, licensed instructor, crime prevention officer, and I currently manage over 128 officers. Thank you.
All right, who's number 2 here?
My name is Gary Perkins, a 26-year veteran of Ellis County, born and raised in Dallas County. I'm currently a police captain in the city of DeSoto. I've been there in that capacity for 29 years as a police officer. I've been captain going on 10 years. I command, third in command of the police department. We got 70 officers, 20 civilians. Have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and business. I'm asking for y'all's vote. I believe in limited government. I believe in being a full-time constable for the precinct.
I'm Ben Fry, I'm the current constable for Precinct 1, Ellis County. I was born and raised in Granbury, Hood County, Texas. I moved here in '99. I spent 14 years in Dallas County as a constable deputy, made supervisor, supervised about 25 troops. Moved here in '99, as I said, and became constable in 2003. And I love it, it's a great job. Thank you.
my name is Jim Parr. I've lived in Ellis County for about 30 years. I'm retired from Southwestern Bell as a manager in engineering. While I worked for Bell, I was also in Air National Guard for 8 years, and I was also a Dallas County Sheriff's Reserve for 20 years. Following that, I came to work for Ellis County as an arson investigator, and up until recently, due to budget constraints, my job was done away with. And I'd like to continue serving the citizens of Ellis County.
Jim, we're going to start the first question with you.
Before we do that, just for our information here, how many people are here tonight from Precinct 1? Okay, you got some people here tonight. Great.
Okay, Jim, why are you running for constable?
I'm running for gospel. I need a job. I want a job. I like working in Ellis County. I believe the citizens of Ellis County, the taxpayers, deserve somebody that's on the job full time. I will not work a part-time job while I'm here constable. And I have experience in running budgets and management, and I believe I can do the best job.
Thank you.
Next one up.
We're doing it in reverse order, so come on up.
Sorry, I get confused. By the way, y'all are a lot better crowd than the other night.
Okay. What do you see as the greatest obstacle to overcome in performing your duties, and how will you overcome that obstacle?
One of the obstacles we have is the fact that people don't really like to get involved so many times, whether it's in a civil case or criminal case. And I guess they just fear the power, or the government, the supervision, or the word. And the way we overcome it is we get out there with the people. We do evictions, we do sequestrations, which is taking somebody's vehicle, or maybe some other item. We do foreclosures. We don't do the foreclosure, but we end up doing the eviction that's come from it. And you have to really educate people as you go, because the first thing you get is some resistance, and the next thing you get is more hard feelings. So we like to keep people as informed as we can, and it makes it easier to overcome those issues. Thank you.
All right, who was the second guy up? There you go, come on. We're getting ourselves together here too. Now, the question you have is?
In 2004, the Ellis County Commissioners Court approved an emergency management plan that entitles the county judge to order law enforcement officials to enforce a prohibition of sales and/or trading of guns and ammunition. If this plan was enacted and you were so ordered, would you enforce it?
First of all, I believe in the Constitution. I've been teaching constitutional issues for over 15 years. So I find it hard to, and I believe in the Second Amendment, because I own a lot of guns. My family owns a lot of guns, grew up with guns. I believe in the Second Amendment of the Constitution, and I believe that would be an unlawful order, and I can enforce an unlawful order.
Okay, Roy Callender Jr., please.
What is your position of the constitutional right to keep and bear arms as stated in the Second Amendment? And how could enforcement of the emergency plan we just talked about not be considered unconstitutional?
The only way it can be unconstitutional is detrimental to the citizens of Ellis County. As far as the Constitution is, or civil rights, it's something we have a right to bear arms. No one should be able to take that away from us, or any citizens of the United States. But the only thing that anybody would be able to bear arms, take our right to take arms away from an individual is something to be detrimental to each and individual citizen of Ellis County that would threaten their lives or homes and their friends and families.
Come on up, Jim. Jim Parr.
Big numbers, bro.
What do you see as the greatest obstacle to overcome in performing your duties? And how will you overcome that obstacle?
I think as Ben said, the citizen involvement's a big obstacle, but I think a bigger obstacle sometimes is money. Of course, everybody likes to have all the money they need to run that job. So you have to make do, live within the bounds that's in your budget, and do the best you can do what you have. I also believe by visiting with the citizens, you can get them more involved. The average citizen doesn't know what a constable does, or really what a JP does, or where their precincts are. If I ask everybody here, probably most of you wouldn't know where the precinct lies on that kind of stuff. So you don't really see a constable until you're involved with them, and most of you never have the need for a constable. So I think it would help if we got out into the neighborhoods and into the businesses and explain to them who the constable is and what he does. Thank you.
Ben Fry, please.
Ben, as we mentioned, in 2004, the Commissioners Court approved an emergency management plan that entitled the county judge to order law enforcement officials to enforce a prohibition of sales and/or trading of guns and ammunition. If this plan was enacted and you were so ordered, would you enforce it?
I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to comply because it does affect our rights. You know, somebody said it best when he said, you can take my gun and you can pry my cold dead fingers off of it. And that's the way I feel about it. They don't have the right to tell us those things. I'm sure it was slid in on some kind of agenda, some kind of little add agenda item, but I would guess that most people don't know that occurred. And number two, that maybe even some of the commissioners don't really understand the whole realm of it. And I'm not knocking the commissioners by any stretch. It's pretty easy to slide some stuff in on those little bills and on here and there and tag them in. Thank you.
Gary Perkins.
Gary? Now, why are you running for constable?
I believe I can be a full-time constable for the citizens of Precinct 1. I've got qualifications. I want to be I'm a public servant, first of all. I'm not a politician until I threw my hat in the ring to run for this position. I think I can serve all the citizens. Precinct 1 encompasses more than just Ennis. There's a lot of other areas I think we could serve, work with. There's a lot of burglaries in the rural area out there. I have a lot of experience in criminal investigation matters. Besides just serving the papers, I think the taxpayers ought to get more for their money than just, you get a full-time paycheck. I don't own any businesses. I'd be a full-time constable. If you're not busy serving papers, then be out in some of the rural areas that's not encompassed by the city that's in that precinct. And I've got, like I said, experience doing criminal investigation, investigating matters. I've got experience in managing budgets, and I think I can do a good job with the citizens. One thing I didn't mention a minute ago about enforcing the emergency order, constable is a constitutional officer. He don't answer to the county commissioners.
Roy Callender Jr.
What is your position of the constitutional right to keep and bear arms as stated in the Second Amendment? And how could enforcement of the emergency plan we talked about not be considered unconstitutional? My mistake. In 2004, the Ellis County Commissioners Court approved an emergency management plan we talked about. If this plan was enacted and you were so ordered, would you enforce it?
No, just like we were saying, the constable is not bound by the commissioners, nor would he enforce it. It's against the constitutional rights. But like I said earlier, the only way anybody should remove arms away from another individual is detrimental to your families, your friends. It's there for harm than other than protection. You have a right to bear them. That's just it. No gray area.
We had 3 times around. Okay, we're going to go back to Gary Perkins. Come on back up, Gary. We're gonna, throw y'all around here.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna ask you which one you haven't responded to yet.
All right.
We're kind of,
The greatest obstacle overcoming performing your duties?
Probably keeping the courts, local courts out of your business and issuing orders and just like this election and messing up, doing your business, that's probably the biggest obstacle. And in limited budgets, having to find intuitive ways to find funds to do the things you need to do, looking for grants and things like that. Because you have limited budgets, I'm a taxpayer, so you have to be fiscally responsible with your money, so you gotta be creative and make sure everybody gets their bang for the buck.
Ben Fry, please.
Didn't it ask you why you're running for constable?
I don't think so. Of course, I have a hard time keeping up.
Why are you running for constable?
I'm running for constable because I am the best candidate for constable. I've got over 30 years of law enforcement. 6 of that was in a deputy sheriff role. The remainder was either in Dallas County as a constable, deputy, or here in Ellis County as a constable. I have the experience. I've done the job. I know what the problems are. We can get it done. We can get it done economically. We've cut the budget the last 3 years, and we'll continue to hold on. I've never been the kind of constable that thought, oh, if I don't spend all the money they give me, then I won't get any more next year. How many people have heard that from a politician? They won't tell you that, but they'll do it. And I've always turned money back. So, thank you.
Jim Farr, please. Jim, we're gonna try and figure out which one you haven't answered yet.
Either one about the emergency plan.
Yeah. In 2004, the Ellis County Commissioners Court approved emergency management plan, entitled the county judge to order law enforcement officials to enforce the prohibition of sales and/or ammunition and guns. If this plan was enacted and you were so ordered, would you enforce it?
Well, under full disclosure, I'll have to say I had the fortunate and unfortunate duty to read the emergency plan while I was the arson investigator, acting on behalf of the fire marshal, and had to sign a couple of the annexes that had to do with the firefighting part. Not the part with the guns or the gasoline or the other things that we really disapprove of as taxpayers, but how the fire department respond. I believe when it comes to time that I don't believe in the job I'm doing, that's time for me to give up that job. And I believe citizens have the right to bear arms and have freedoms. Thank you.
Thank you, Precinct 1 candidates. Oh, Calendar, Roy, come on up. No, we're through. Y'all leave. No, y'all weren't through. We need a closing remark from each one of you. And we want you to do real good on this. Come on up, Jim. Jim Farr.
Okay, in closing, I have a master peace officer license, an arson investigator license, a fire inspector certificate, and a code enforcement certificate. I believe in Ellis County, I believe in the citizens, I believe I'm the best candidate because I get out there and work for you. And that's really what you're doing here tonight, is you're interviewing me for a job. And so I hope you'll vote for me. Thank you.
Ben Fry.
First off, thanks very much, the whole Tea Party group. I don't know exactly who's who, but I know
We don't need it.
You, oh, well, that's good. If I knew who the boss was, I'd go shake his hand and suck up, but you know.
That'd be me, Ben. That'd be me.
Thanks to all y'all for having, oh, that'd be you, okay. I want to first point out my lovely wife here is with me, and if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing this, honestly. But thanks for having these forums, and I am the constable now. I am the best candidate for the next term. Thank you very much.
Gary Perkins, please.
I'd like to say I am the best candidate, and repeat what Fry said, but got 32 years in law enforcement, got a bachelor's degree. I've been with my current agency for 29 years, experience with budgets. All that time I've been a full-time police officer. I've been teaching since 1995. Police officers as well, constitutional issues, arrest, search, and seizure, laws. I've testified as an expert in federal, state courts, represented cities in lawsuits. I know the Constitution well. I'm a good Christian man. I was baptized New Year's Day in 1998, went all the way to Israel to be baptized in the Jordan River. Family man, family comes first. So I believe I'm the best candidate.
Well, I think too, I also believe I'm the best candidate for the position. I'm a licensed instructor, I'm a licensed peace officer, licensed detention officer. I'm also a crime prevention officer, and I believe that's a real big part of the citizens, especially the local businesses, what they can do to protect themselves, how to protect themselves from fraudulent, worthless checks. I believe in seamless law enforcement, working with your local agencies and passing intelligence and what we can do on our times. We're not serving papers and doing things that our constable's duties require of us. That also out here help protect your homes and your houses and make your families and friends safe. Thank you.
Just for our own information, precinct 2 constable is Terry Knight. Terry, are you here tonight? Okay, I guess Terry's not here. Okay, then we'll go to precinct 3. We have Jimmy Ray. Are you here, Jimmy Ray? These two are running unopposed. Okay, hearing no response there, we'll go now to our precinct 4 constables. We have Mike Jones, who is the current constable there, and Michael DeLaura. We'll give you. That's a big ball to put 2 numbers in. We'll make it. We might get this right with just 2 candidates here. I don't know. Okay.
All right. My name is Mike Jones. I'm the constable of precinct 4 currently. I've been doing that job for 3 years and so many months. I love that job. I'm there every day. I can't think of a better job or a better way to serve the people of Ellis County than to be a constable. I've seen the other jobs and I've seen the other elected officials, but we're right out there and we get, what I see is we get to see the best that Ellis County has to offer. And I would just hope that, I'd appreciate your vote when you go to the polls, whenever that's going to be. Again, Mike Jones, thank you.
Michael DeLaura.
Good evening. I am Michael DeLaura. I am a career lawman. I've been living in Ellis County Precinct 4 for about 13 plus years. I'm married. I have 3 daughters. I attend church over here at Grace Church in Oak Villa. I have 21 years law enforcement experience. 18 of that has been in the constable's office. I have supervised about 36 deputies, everything from civil to criminal warrants to the traffic division, bailiff section, the whole 9 yards. And the way the structure of the constable's office is, I do have input in some of the budgetary needs. I am a master peace officer. I am also a TCLO certified instructor. So I believe I have the qualifications to be your constable. Now I understand that this office is not my office if elected. This is the office of the people. You are deciding who will be the best one to run that office. I answer to you, the people of Ellis County, and I would appreciate your vote in the upcoming election. Thank you.
Now, come on back up. We're going to fire you the first question here. We're going to fire away.
Mac, what do you see as the greatest obstacle to overcome in performing your duties, and how will you overcome that obstacle?
I think maybe the hardest, the biggest obstacle that the constable's office has is probably public information. People just don't know what the constable's office is. But what do? Are you a constable, your deputy constable? Really, well, what do you do? So I think the biggest thing is to inform the people of Ellis County, or anyone, on what a constable does. That is a small office. I believe the way to overcome that would be spending time in the community, making sure that the ones who voted you in know who you are, what you're there for, you can help them. If they need something, they can call you. I believe that strongly. Thank you.
Harlan, that yellow, and I'm colorblind, that yellow is, they've got how many seconds?
15.
See, they're getting down in a hurry on it when you show them the yellow. So that's all right, you got 15 more
I'm
seconds.
disappointed I'm not getting to use it.
Yeah. That's fine. So if you guys in, the yellow comes up, you still, and you got 15 good seconds left in you, go for it. All right, let's go with this question, first question.
Mac, why are you running for constable?
Well, I'm currently the constable right now. I think after only being there for 3 years, I think there's so much more that we can do that obviously because of time that we haven't been able to do is it's a lot of the hot check. It's informing the merchants out there what service that we can provide for them. Some of the people out there we can that have rental properties, give them some idea and some education of what it is that we can do for them. And like Mike said earlier, is mainly get out there and talk to the people and just, this is where I live. I've chosen to make my life here and truly love it. So that's why I want to currently continue on with the constable's office. Thank you.
Again, in 2004, the Ellis County Commissioners Court approved an emergency management plan that entitles the county judge to order law enforcement officials to enforce a prohibition of sales and/or trading of guns and ammunition. If this plan was enacted and you were so ordered, would you enforce it?
You know, that, you would say that would be a hard one, but I believe that everyone has a right to have a firearm. I believe in that. I'm a member of the NRA. Apparently, I believe in that. Have more firearms than you can shake a stick at. Wife doesn't always understand that, but it's a guy thing. You know, I don't think I'd be able to do that. I just don't, because I believe in everyone's right to bear arms, and I just can't see taking a firearm away from a law-abiding citizen, especially in a time of crisis. I just don't see it.
What is your position of the constitutional right to keep and bear arms as stated in the Second Amendment, and how could enforcement of the emergency plan we've talked about not be considered unconstitutional?
Well, it can't be considered unconstitutional. I'm sorry. I think I might have said that backwards. Under the Second Amendment, we have the right to bear arms. Now, for the people who don't know me, I was a Marine for 21 years, so I protected that Constitution for 21 years. So if anybody was to order me to take away any of the citizens' weapons, it'll be an unequivocal, absolute no. This is your right. In a time of emergency, that's when we want our citizens to be armed. That's what happened to us in 1776. We got tired of taking it. If we didn't have arms, we'd still be talking with an English accent right now. So, Second Amendment is probably the biggest issue for us, and it will never be infringed upon by my office, ever.
Michael, okay.
Yes, sir.
Why are you running for constable?
I am running for constable because I know I can do the job. I have the experience, master peace officer, 20-plus years experience. Over 17 of that in the constable's office. I went over this earlier, but I'm telling you, I am the candidate to run your constable's office. I would appreciate your consideration this upcoming election. Again, as was said before, when we have that. You know, one of the things that when talking with folks, one thing that I've come across is there seems to be, everyone is really concerned about the illegal aliens. I've worked real close with ICE to locate criminal aliens, arrest them, place them in jail so that ICE can do their job. You know, I'm here to do the job of the constable, and I will do that job. Other things as well that can be addressed, and I will address those. Thank you.
Mike, come back up. Mike and Michael, that's almost confusing. Come on, Mike. Yeah. Right. Yeah, you do good. By the way, how many people are here from precinct 4? You got a few people here tonight.
Yeah, Precinct 4 will vote. I'm telling you, they're concerned about the issue.
Okay, Mike. What do you see as the greatest obstacle to overcome in performing your duties, and how will you overcome that obstacle?
Well, in 3 years, and like I said, I guess it's going on 3 months now, I haven't had any obstacles, any major obstacles to deal with. I don't know if it's my mentality that every time I'm approached with an issue that I just see a way to solve it. So I don't consider having any obstacles to really have to fret about. Maybe on a personal level, when we have to take a child from one custodial parent and give it to another custodial parent, on a personal level, that is hard for us to deal with. We do it, it's a signed order, but when you take a child away from their mother or their father and they've never seen this other custodial parent and you have to give them over, that will cause you some sleepless nights. So that's probably, I hope I answered that question. That was the intended question. But as far as the obstacles of the job, there's no obstacle that's not hard to overcome. Thank you.
Michael DeLara. I keep saying DeLara, it's DeLara, isn't it?
Yes, sir, that's it.
Michael, what is your position of the constitutional right to keep and bear arms as stated in the Second Amendment? And how could enforcement of the emergency plan be considered constitutional?
Well, I'm going to have to agree with my, quick on the get in there. I'm going to have to agree with Mike Jones. There's no way around it. It is against the Constitution. You have the right to bear arms. It would, it's just, there's, you know, I just can't fathom pulling somebody's firearms away from them. This goes hand in hand with the 2 questions ago, what you said about the emergency management. Just can't do it. It is completely against the Constitution. I don't agree with it. I will keep my firearms, and that's my position on it. It's just short and sweet and to the point. Thank you.
Come on, Michael, last question.
It's about the emergency service plan.
Yeah. It was an action, you were so ordered, would you enforce it?
No one can order me to take a weapon from anybody. I'm voted by the people. That's who I respond to. That's who I answer to. I don't take orders from anybody. When it comes to your Constitution, if the people have not voted an amendment to that Constitution, then I'm a sworn officer. I take an oath to uphold the Constitution, not from what the commissioners tell you or what the county judge tells you. It's what you guys do. It's what you say. And if there's not an amendment, and you want me to go take away your neighbor's gun, it's not happening. So, again, let me just expound. The commissioners, they're elected, but they don't tell other elected officials what to do. And if it's an illegal order from anybody, it won't be followed.
Okay, Michael. Closing statements, please.
Well, I think it's just about everything's been covered. I want to thank the Tea Party for having us out tonight. Thank you very much for inviting me out. Thank you to my wife, those who support me, Donna Ann. I just appreciate it. It's very important having people stand behind you, and I thank you. I believe I can do a real good job as far as being your constable. You know, this, like I said earlier, it is your office. You're going to have to make that decision, who you want running your office. I answer to you. As Mike said earlier, no two elected officials, you know, have the power over another one to tell them exactly what they want you to do and so forth, because I answer to you, or I will answer to you if you elect me as your constable. I have all the qualifications needed. I have more than enough. So I am the candidate for Precinct 4, Constable's office, and I would appreciate your consideration. Thanks for having me out.
All right, in closing, I can't mention my wife. She told me she'd kill me if I did, so I'm not going to point her out. But in closing, what I want to say is, after being your constable for these 3 years, we turn money back in at the end of the budget year every year. We buy used cars instead of new cars now. I bought used computers instead of new computers. You get the same use out of them. It goes on and on. We were on top of the mortgage fraud in this county before it ever went national. That was out of Precinct 4. Just a couple of hillbillies like me and my chief deputy figured it out, and we put a stop to it, and we cleaned out a whole neighborhood of squatters. We really are out there every day looking to make sure that when you get up in the morning and you go to work, that you can feel confident that somebody's looking after your property. You don't have to worry about that. Go earn your paycheck, go take care of your family. We got your back while you're gone. So I just want everybody to know we are conscientious about this job. And I got the red stop sign.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, I wanted to ask, do we have Dennis Robinson here tonight? All right, how about Bob Holly? These are the candidates for Precinct 1 Commissioner. So we'll jump from that to Commissioner candidates, Precinct 3. Come on up, gentlemen. All right, how many people are here tonight from Precinct 3? All right, you got somebody to talk with. The incumbent commissioner, Heath Sam, is not here, so we'll just have one speech list on this one. All right, well, the number one candidate, step forward. This is Alex Schindler.
Alex Schindler, good evening. I would like to thank the Ellis County Tea Party and all the citizens for coming tonight on a rainy evening. And again, my name is Alex Schindler. I am running for Precinct County 3. I was kind of called to this opportunity. Obviously, the Magna Blend issue is something that I'll speak about in a little bit, but it's something that I felt that the Commissioners Court is no longer listening to their citizens, no longer communicating to them about what is going on, and so I feel that we need somebody in there to clean house. And obviously, my qualifications as a commissioner come from being not only an Ellis County resident for 5 years, but for somebody who has a great care and interest on representing the people with honesty, transparency, and of course, commitment to do the right thing. I have an undergrad business degree from UT. I have my master's from SMU. I'm a former commercial pilot, a former professional athlete. I've spent my life in 5 continents around the world. I understand what it means to see those beautiful aircraft carriers or ships across the ocean, drive by a place in Brazil or in China and see the American flag standing there at the U.S. Embassy. It means a lot. It means something more than just freedom. It means about the people here. So that is the reason I'm running on behalf of Precinct 3 and the citizens. I'm very honored to be chosen for that opportunity. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Boyce Watley. I'm currently running for County 3, Precinct 3 Commissioner, and 30-year resident here in Ellis County, near 30 years. I have served the last 13 years as the mayor of Midlothian, having been elected 5 times. I'm not an incumbent to this particular office, but never ever underestimated the power of the electorate. And I always felt that it was necessary and important to represent them in a responsible way, to see that their needs were met, that we ran an effective, productive, efficient, and open government, and I feel that Ellis County needs the same. I am a 31-year retiree, or retired after 31 years with AT&T as an operations manager, responsible lastly for a 22-state footprint, a second-tier engineering support group. I have retired to run for this office. I feel very passionate about serving the public, and I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Oh, Paul Berry. Got your name, Paul.
Okay, Jimmy. I'm here tonight to ask for your vote for Precinct 3. My name is Paul Perry. I'm a 29-year veteran of the financial services industry. My wife Rebecca's here, and we got married about the same time I started the industry. We've been married 29 years. We have 8 children. I'm a 1978 graduate of Midlothian High School. I'm a 1982 graduate of Baylor University with a degree in risk management, which is kind of a financial services catch-all for evaluating risks. I come into this race largely because I believe that somebody on the Commissioner's Court needs to be listening to y'all. Whether it's the transparency issue, as evidenced by this emergency order that I think I helped expose in the paper a while back, 490 pages of something that no one knew anything about, and has blackened redacted parts when I actually managed to buy my own copy, or the Magnum Blend issue. I'm concerned about taxes. I think that in a time of an economic slowdown, we probably could have found a better way to deal with our financial problems in this county than raising taxes on the residents who are about to have federal taxes go up astronomically unless we manage to do something about it. So humbly, I believe this is a service position. I don't plan on building a career. If y'all choose to elect me, I will only serve 2 terms because I believe, like I did when I was Justice of the Peace, but especially in a policy position, I believe that you need to get out and live under the terms and under the conditions and under the legislation you passed. So I would ask for your vote tonight.
Thanks. Stay up there, Paul.
Paul, for the first question, should Ellis County Commissioners combine and share resources such as road equipment in order to save money? Absolutely, and that's a plank of mine. I should have votepaulperry.com website up hopefully next week, and it may be an evolving situation, but we'll get that on there. That will be a high priority because through the years, through my decades in this county, I've noticed that we go through cycles where commissioners are cooperating and sharing equipment, and then when they're not. What we need to do is figure out a way to make that particular function of our government more efficient. We have 4 separate crews. We have 4 different supervisors. I'm not after anybody's job, but over the long haul, I think we can do this over a period of a few years with a lot of citizen input. What we need to do is we need to have fewer supervisors and maybe one less crew, and we need to have some standard ways in which we have to repair these roads that'll last. Thank you.
Same question? No. Moving on, okay.
What is your position on the recent tax increase approved by the Commissioners Court?
Well, the Commissioners Court was ill-prepared for a couple of expenses that really threw a monkey wrench in their budget. One of those was dam repair or dam reclamation. The county has about 30 flood control dams, and we have an opportunity with a 5% match each, the city and Ellis County, to use a federal and state grant to cover 90% of the costs of Padera Lake Dam, which was termed by Channel 8 as one of the 10 worst dams in North Texas. In addition to that, there was a 5-year-old lawsuit that was settled in court with Holson, and $80 million was removed from the tax rolls, and you add that times 5, they had a substantial amount of money that was refunded back to them. They weren't prepared to pay that. The city of Midlothian had put money back each year, as the school district had, and avoided any kind of tax increase, and the county had no money in reserve in order to pay that debt.
Alex, in light of the unpopularity of the tax increase, what would you do to restore citizens' trust in their commissioners?
Well, I, first of all, would have never had a tax increase. Again, like I had mentioned the other evening, really it goes down to having a strategic plan. And the strategic plan has to encompass all the different areas that you're responsible for, but also trying to include the private sector, include areas of government grants, and then also laying out a step-by-step program with your community of trying to address the areas